Oh, sure. Is this where I'm gonna learn how to switch truth bullets? Oh, multiple weak spots. Right.
The incident took place in Makoto's room.
Yep, congratulations.
Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Accurate.
She then fled into the bathroom.
She sure did.
Then the killer ran after her,
Yippers.
and they got into the bathroom.
Somehow.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
Nope.
No, that's wrong. The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked.
Because it can't lock. Because I am a man. A male man. Not a mailman, but, you know, a male man.
After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walk-in bathrooms, right?
Exactly.
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door... That's not lucky at all!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've mentioned that already.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
Because he didn't know it was my bathroom.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
Yes. The crime took place in Sayaka's room. We've been lied to the entire time. No.
I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable!
You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
There would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through.
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
Ah, yes, a possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Which is everybody else.
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Thank you. Thank you!
Okay, then who did do it?
That face, though.
I'm sorry, but I give up. Quit without saving.
Never do that! Don't ever quit without saving.
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Then we all die!
Well, why don't we just vote right now?
Except for the black.
Majority rules.
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something.
for serious.
For realsies.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you...
Wow, rude.
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
That doesn't make any sense, but good try.
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then, maybe someone picked the lock?
Are they pickable? I'm pretty sure they're not.
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way.
And which way would that be?
They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, she made it pretty clear that that wasn't gonna happen.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place.
Yeah, and someone isn't aware of who that someone is.
Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Oh god, because switching rooms.
I got it! Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
Exactly.
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
What if indeed?
Huh?
Huh?
Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
Where did you get that?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil.
Ha.
And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
Well, as I've been saying this whole time, it wasn't me.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No.
No, I didn't. But...
Of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
What updated autopsy report? Yes, good. I'm pretty sure you could resist, given all your talk of 2D and whatnot.
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
Man, it's like I can see 5 seconds into the future. It's the worst superpower.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
And what makes you say that?
Huh? What makes you say that?
5 seconds into the future!
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yep, we sure
But in
did.
the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says my room.
It done do's do that, yep.
So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
They would have tried.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
That is
So in
that,
other
yep.
words, even if someone did read the note and did what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
Okay, apparently I've missed my window of opportunity.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place that it specifically says, I see.
Boink. Ah, you bet
So
you
if
bet the
someone
boink.
read that, then they would have gone to exactly.
The room that Makoto was staying.
So in other words, they would not have any.
It certainly would seem that way.
Okay, note to self, I need to use my focus gauge or whatever it is.
It specifically said, my
Hud-
room.
Doink? Okay, apparently that was...
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
But in the note, it specifically says, I see. Then they would have gone exactly.
The
There we go. Okay.
The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
Did we not determine that already? Did I miss the part where that didn't get determined already?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves.
I'm gonna say yes.
As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
That sounds like a very Celeste thing to do.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem.
But, like, we determined that during this trial, did we not?
And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Nope.
Right?
Okay, then who did it?
Can't imagine who.
I got it! Me
The
and
only
Sayaka
other
were the
person.
only
It was
ones
me
who had known
again!
about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
Gasp!
You can also infer as much from her note.
Yup.
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you've switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her.
Well, I mean, yeah, eventually.
We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
Do we know who did it, though? Because we haven't determined that part yet.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Yeah, that.
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Yeah, probably, given that it was, like, on the ground and out of its sheath and stuff.
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
It's a piece of crap is what it is.
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
Because there's gold dust or whatever on it. It's the sword!
Shoot!
What? Excuse... Do I have to fucking present her wrist?
I got it!
Why?
All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen, there's something glittery there. See?
When you look at her wrist, there's no doubt presents the wrist. Am I wrong for thinking that was way too obvious? Like, even for the...
Is that gold?
Even for the first case?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
Congratulations, you're officially catching up.
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
Alright, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
He says, acting like he's been contributing the whole time. Is this where we have multiple truth bullets? There we go. I believe it gets harder later on. But still. Or you can use the mouse wheel. No punctuation. Headbangs.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. Sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
It sure is.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out,
the culprit, and that's when the first
sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
Oh my god. Oh my god. There we go.
She tried to fight back.
She grabbed the... But then the culprit...
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened.
Can't help but notice that the timer is also fast-forwarded.
When the fighting for the culprit, and that's when the first blow.
Sword-based sneak attack.
No, it's wrong.
No, he's wrong! Break!
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
I don't think your face started with the sword.
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Like maybe a knife?
Something sharp. You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
We're taking this as slow as we can there, buddy boy.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you are going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
Oh, Wear Tag, thank you for the follow, dude.
That's true.
How are you doing
With
on
the
this
sheath
fine
it'd be
Friday
heavy and
evening?
bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
Oh no!
I think I get it. So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening.
No?
So she grabbed the sword to defend herself, but then the culprit took that from her too.
No? I'm gonna go with no.
After they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Is it her hands? The fact that they don't have gold on them? Yes! I love wielding swords with my stomach.
I got it! You're talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
But her wrist was still broken and stuff. Or, if her broken wrist still had the gold on it, is what I mean.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No? That's a leap. That is a leap and a half if I have ever seen one.
No, that's not it at all.
Right, I forgot about that part. She's afraid of water, but only at nighttime.
I got it! According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
That's concerning. It's been like 4 days, I believe.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big fat ugly donkey.
Again with the fat shaming. What, like,
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
How, in what universe is that a compliment?
An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword.
Gasp!
But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
I got it! Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
I'm surprised it didn't, like, introduce a third option, like Monokuma.
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Han Solo!
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
Gasp. What?
She took the knife from the kitchen then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a quick pause because my cat seems to be, making some mischief, so I'll be right back. Alright! Time to...
She wanted to
hopefully
get
not get accused of murder anymore.
Room
Hopefully, that would be
staying.
nice. Also, yeah, I was gonna say something pretty similar about that line.
And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
Yeah.
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
But who would believe him, though?
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Rude.
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan
Trat?
backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true!
Alright, how do you explain things then, Makoto?
Because...
Yes?
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come
Super
on,
boring
hurry
Mario?
up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Man, that sure would suck.
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Dude.